You may have missed this back in April of 2026, but Dr. Sanjay Gupta released an article on CNN that's called "They Tried Everything and Nothing Worked. Now Women Are Turning to Cannabis for Help." Hi, I'm Beth, your personal trainer and cannabis educator, and I'm excited to be here to talk to you today about using cannabis for perimenopause and menopause. We'll just lump it all together. And I thought this article was a great way to open because my mother sent it to me because she knows what I help women with. And it's interesting to see this on mainstream media in a positive light. Most of the times you see cannabis information on mainstream media in a negative light. And this was actually, I thought, a well done article. Dr. Sanjay Gupta is known for being like a TV medical correspondent for CNN. And he, a few years ago, came out in full support of cannabis. He did some research as a medical doctor. He did some research. He interviewed people, the people who created the brand Charlotte's Web, and he really dove into the medicinal use of cannabis and came out supporting it and said that this is, while it's not a cure-all, and we don't claim it to be, but it is a supportive tool in a natural way for a lot of people. And this article, basically, all it really says is that women, I'm 48, so middle-aged women in their 40s and beyond are struggling with the loss of estrogen in our bodies affects every cell in our bodies. And so it's no surprise that we're dealing with things like lack of sleep, muscle inflammation, or inflammation in the body, I should say. So muscles, tissues, all of that. So pain and inflammation. We're dealing with insomnia. We're dealing with any sleep disturbances just in general. Like can't fall asleep, can't stay asleep. Weight gain, right? Your body, the digestive system just not acting right. And your body basically, because it's losing estrogen in every possible way, every system is affected, not just your reproductive system, but it's having a full systematic effect on our bodies. And I feel like the things that people complain about the most in perimenopause and beyond is really sleep, the hot flashes, the temperature changes, the mood changes, the perimenopause rage, if you will, all the, those things that go along with it, difficulty recovering from workouts. I hear that a lot as a personal trainer. Women in midlife and beyond are extra sore, extra achy. One of my clients calls it the pain du jour because every day you wake up and something else feels off. And again, unfortunately, there's a lot of estrogen in all of our tissues. So we are more, as women in middle age, we are more prone to injury and inflammation and aches and pains. And so I thought, again, back to this article, I thought it was really great of Dr. Gupta to go through and actually listen to women and hear what we're saying and how we're using cannabis to help with those things. And again, I'm talking about the medicinal side, right? I mean, one of the benefits, I think, of cannabis is that you can use it for recreation. You can use it to unwind, and it can replace that nightly glass of wine or your beers on the weekend or whatever it is that you like that's alcohol. It can replace that so that you can still get a nice buzz and relax and have, take the edge off, if you will, without having to use without having to use alcohol. You can use cannabis for that. But aside from that, the medicinal aspects are really where it's at. And I will say that as a personal trainer and helping women lose weight and, get strong, is that, cannabis really checks all the boxes for people because everyone's different. But, I might have a client come in the morning who didn't sleep great at night. That's not uncommon for people to come in and just be just in junk, right? They feel like junk because they didn't sleep. And, cannabis is a great solution for that because THC can help you fall asleep and CBD can help you stay asleep. So it's just, at that point now it's just a matter of, okay, well, let's tweak the dose. Let's start real small, and go low, go slow, right? And just try to see if we can get your sleep on track so that everything else can be on track. Because if you're not sleeping, you don't have the energy to put into your workout, and you probably have a lot of cravings as your body seeks relief. Right? Your body seeks energy, so it's going to give you cravings. Pain and inflammation is another huge way that I see my clients using cannabis. Again, not necessarily are they out to get high, but they are out to be pain-free. And this is very personal. Some people love THC because it really does ease the pain of things. As we get into midlife and beyond, we start to have more issues. You might have bone on bone in your knees or hips or shoulder, right? You might have more pain. You might be developing arthritis or neuropathy and things like that. You also might be prone to inflammation because, again, losing the estrogen in our body, now our body's more prone to inflammation. So CBD, the non-intoxicating part of the plant, when you take that, it goes through your whole system and helps reduce the inflammation, right? It makes your body better at carrying around the nutrients it needs to support the tissues, right? Your body, when you exercise, your body breaks down a little bit, and then it needs your blood and your lymphatic system to carry around nutrients to repair the muscles and the tissues. And when that process slows down, we're left with a lot of pain and inflammation, and CBD can go in and help that process speed up and help it get back to its regular function. I think with mood regulation too, if you're about my age, you've probably experienced the mood swings and like the perimenopause rage and all the different wild emotions that you feel as estrogen is leaving your body. I'm laughing because it's just so common that my clients and I joke about it a lot. So you're not alone if you're feeling a little off mood-wise in this time of life. But again, and this is maybe more well-known way to use cannabis is for mood. THC commonly used for euphoria. If you want to get that far, you can go as far as you want to total euphoria and disconnection. I like to live a little more in the connected part of it. So I like to get happy. I like to feel a little bit silly. Oh no, my phone is ringing. Sorry about that. I like to feel a little bit more happy, giggly, silly maybe, but connected to my body. I don't like the disconnected feeling, so I tend to, kind of put a limit on my THC, and I balance it out with CBD or CBG, which is another form of non-intoxicating cannabis. And that's what I think is fun, is to play with these different combinations and find the place where you feel like yourself, just happy, relaxed, chill, right? Not wound up, but also still connected to your body. And it's interesting because in the article, he names that as that the women he talked to, and I think he went to a couple of different states to talk to people. He just did like some random sampling, of course, because, not everybody wants to volunteer that they use cannabis, even if it's medicinal. But the women he talked to, said that they felt more connected to their bodies. And that is one of my favorite things about cannabis, is that you do feel more connected to your body. And again, you have to be real careful not to go too far so that you feel disconnected. So you don't want to get too high, because if you're too high, you will feel very disconnected to basically everything on earth. And that may not be where you want to be. When you're using it for this, especially in perimenopause, where we're so sensitive to this drastic change that our body is going through, if you're like me, you kind of feel like a different person now than you did 5, 10, 15 years ago. And I want to stay connected to myself and my body and not lose that, and just work on the new version of me, right? This middle-aged version of me. And so that connection to your body is really important. And to, quite frankly, that's the piece that helps my clients stay being connected helps them stay in control when it comes to food, cravings, healthy decisions, all those things. So, when you stay connected to your body, you're less likely to get troubled by the munchies, right? Munchies, if you've been following me, you know that munchies are a sensory enhancement in what you're eating, right? It's not a binge. It's not a junk food. It's your body's senses are enhanced. So the more connected you are to your body, and you're not like in outer space because you're super high, then the more success you're gonna have managing those sensations and being able to use those sensations to be like, oh my God, these cherries are amazing right now. I don't even need those gummy worms because I have cherries. You wanna be excited by the sensations of it and not just getting junk food. So I've named a few ways that cannabis can be supportive in perimenopause: sleep, cravings, workout recovery, pain, inflammation, relaxation. And those are the things that I like to highlight because those are what's really helping my clients right now who are in this middle age and beyond. Cannabis not just, it can be getting high while you work out, and some people do, and that's great if that works for them. For you, if that works for you, that's fantastic. But can be so much more supportive than just that, right? And that's what I love to teach, and that's what I'm super passionate about, which is why I'm having a workshop on August 4th. It's a Tuesday, about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm gonna jump on Zoom, and it's free. If you wanna be there, you can definitely reserve a seat. And I want to keep it kind of intimate so that you can ask questions and I can go over, exactly what you want to be looking for if you want to use cannabis for sleep or recovery, pain, inflammation, recovering from your workouts quickly, if you wanted to use it in a supportive way and understand a little bit more about the non-psychoactive part of cannabis, right? The THC, again, love it for being giggly, silly, happy, mood definitely boost, but if you want to know the full plant and how it works together with the THC and why those ratios are so, so important, that's what I'm going to cover in the workshop. And I want you to leave knowing exactly what to look for if you're interested in a specific aspect. Like, if you might want to use a 1-to-1 gummy, and I want you to go into a store confident or order online confident that that's going to be your first choice that you're going to try. So anyway, that just a quick plug for the workshop. So if it's free, if you're into it, you can shoot me an email and I'll reserve your spot. I'll throw the link to sign up in the show notes, and then we'll do it that way. All right. Thanks everybody. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being interested in cannabis, fitness, and nutrition, and really just being interested in feeling the best you can. All right, have a great day. My email is beth@cannafitnessnutrition.com, and I hang out on Instagram where I am Beth_Canna Fitness Nutrition. Have a great time, and I will see you next time.